What is going on, everyone? Back again with another CBR 600RR video. Now, for any of you guys who aren't sure what this bike is or where I got it from, be sure to check the previous video about this bike because it'll give you a lot of context of what this bike is and where I got it from. So please watch that for context. In this video, of course, I'm going to continue the series again with this bike because, as you guys know, it doesn't start and I need to get this thing started. All right, I want to hear this thing. As you guys know, the bike does not actually start, and that's because the bike actually came with no keys at all. But the guy I got it off actually installed a new ignition lock with a set of new keys. Now, the bike does crank over, and I'll let you guys hear it right now. So as you guys can hear, it does start, but it doesn't want to like crank over, you know? And I am led to believe that it could be a possible issue with the ECU not recognizing the new set of keys. And that's completely understandable because obviously the ECU is going to recognize the old set of keys and not the new ones. So I contacted a couple of the best mechanics in Sydney just to ask them if they could access the ECU to bypass the immobilizer. And unfortunately, they both actually gotten back to me with the exact same thing. The whole ECU is outdated, which is extremely fine and normal. I get it because it's an old ass bike. But it's not the end of the world there because they actually both gave me the same alternative. What they suggested was for me to contact the locksmith so the locksmith can create a new key and link it up with the ECU that I currently have. I did get in contact with the locksmith and they quoted me $550. So before I go ahead and spend that money in today's video, I'm gonna be taking this bike to a good friend of mine who owns a shop just so I can get his confirmation that it's actually the locksmith that could be the solution to bring this bike back to life, because I don't want to pay $550 and it just ended up being like a little fuse that I could have just replaced, or a spark plug, do you know what I mean? So we're gonna head over there now. I'll see you guys there. We've got the bike in the trailer strapped up and everything. I'm not too sure what to expect throughout this video. Like, I'm filming this video as I go, so I don't know what the results could be at the end. It could either be the bike doesn't start or does start. But nonetheless, I'll see you guys at the shop. Ah, fucking getting bit by mozzies, bro. You got it? Yeah, good. What's a PSI? What was it at?
How much you pick it up for?
Didn't I tell you?
No.
Have a wild guess. I'm actually really curious about this.
I don't know, about 2.5 grand?
You're close.
How close? Up or down?
Down.
Price is right.
Down.
Like, how down are we talking about?
We're going a lot down.
If it's less than 2, you picked up a good bike. Let's put it that way. Right,
I got it for free.
Even better, the best purchase you can get.
Yeah. So what are we doing now?
Just gonna lift up the tank, just sort of get inside. This bike here is a bit tight.
Could it be like a spark plug or fuse or something that could also be an issue?
So the fuel pump's not priming. You got to look at the fuel pump circuit. It's usually obviously a signal from the ECU. Then it goes through a relay, and then it goes through the pump, and then there's a fuse. Unless this bike, I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head, if the immobilizer cuts the fuel pump, which could be the case. Looks alright, it's just dusty.
Damn, I'm actually so surprised there's no like major rust in this thing. You know, that was like one thing I was afraid of when I picked up this bike. I was like, fuck, rust, because I didn't really get a good glimpse of it when I picked it up. I just picked it up. This is why I love Mickey.
See?
Innovation. I love him, man. So are we trying to figure out if the fuel pump is not engaging because of the ECU, or it could just be the fuel pump itself being the issue?
It could be. We're just going to follow the circuitry one by one. So what I will do first, just a multimeter, I'm just going to check some continuity, work out which wires are which, so I can bridge the pump and see if it's alive. When I give you the signal, just start it as normal. We'll see if it fires up.
But the kill switch is already down.
That's okay. Yeah, leave it down. I've overridden everything anyway, so leave the switch down.
Switch down.
Yeah, and then when it's ready to go, hit the crank. Go. Okay, it's killing something else as well. So it must be fuel and ignition. Okay, we're going to run another test to see if the injectors are pulsing, which means if they're pulsing, they're squirting fuel into the actual engine. All right. Go for it.
3.
Yeah, hit it.
2.
Stop. Yeah, so no injector pulse. So the ECU is cutting.
So it is the ECU.
Everything. Yeah, from what it looks like.
Okay.
Obviously, when you hit the red, on, fuel pump primes, means everything's good to go. Once you crank it and the motor spins, then the ECU knows that the motor's turning, and then it'll know exactly when to squirt the fuel and when to hit the spark. It's very precise. that should pulse pretty quickly because of how fast the motor runs.
is actually blocking the whole bike from doing any of that.
Sounds like it.
Mickey, where would you even start with this? Like, if you handed me this, I wouldn't even know where to fucking start.
Well,
how do you just pick this up and go like, you just know, like there's bird shit right there. Like, how do you know where do you start? Like, where's the engine?
it's not in it. It's over there in the back. I don't know, you'd clean it first and then hope that you don't find more disasters.
So where are we up to now? What are we doing?
So we tested the fuel pump mechanically, so bypassed everything, just put a 12 volt to the pump. It works, sounds healthy.
Yep.
No rust in the tank, which is a very good sign. We tried to test other functions of other components, but unfortunately the computer is controlling all that. And because the computer is not getting that signal, we're not able to see it like this to see if it's actually working, because the immobilizer does cut a lot of the components like the injector fire and the spark plug.
Yeah.
So from then, I'm trying to see how we can bypass this to get it going. So Honda has a very good system, the HISS, all right? It's a pain in the ass. You've still got your receiver here, which is a good sign, which is at the back of the barrel here. It says ASS, checking. And then you have the loom. So it's an intricate system, like I was touching on earlier.
Yeah.
It's not as basic as electrical. There's an electronic component in the ECU which controls that signal, but there is a way around it. It just requires a little bit more time.
Yeah.
And then we can shortlist some options.
So, Bob, the option that we're heading towards, is it still creating another key and linking it up with that ECU?
That is the best option because you go back to stock. However, I'm trying to find an option part way for you, which you don't need to do that. It'll be disabling the requirement for the HISS altogether. So it kind of becomes like an older bike.
Okay.
But that's kind of what you need at this stage to get it running.
Yeah, that's fine.
At least in the interim, we'll get it fired up, then you can take it for a spin. And
yeah, I just want to hear this thing start up, man.
Yeah.
You know? But
we all want to hear it, yeah.
I think what we'll do is I'll be leaving the bike here with Mickey. He's gonna dissect it, dive into it more, figure out what the best solution is for me and the bike, and I guess we'll go from there. Obviously, I wanted to get this bike started up today, but it is what it is.
Well, hats off to Honda. They've put together pretty good immobilizer systems.
Yeah,
It's not that simple.
Too difficult for me, man. Too difficult for me. But no, we'll definitely get this bike started. It will start. Just need to have some obstacles along the way that we'll get through. So
it's promising though, the bike. Generally speaking, looking at it, other than obviously sitting under a carport or outside for a little while,
yeah,
it looks good.
it's been in the garage, I'm pretty sure, for most of its life.
It's just a bit dusty.
Yeah.
But you could tell, like, not many people have been in there. Even the airbox screws, this is like one of the culprits. They start to get chewed out. They use the wrong heads on there. And then there's a lot of other signs when they play with the bike too much. So little things that I can see, it's actually promising. I'm keen to see how this thing will run.
Yeah. So maybe in the next video, guys, hopefully, potentially, we'll get this bike started up again. But as for now, I'll be leaving the bike in the hands of Mickey, and he'll get in contact with me with what the next step is. But yeah, this is Mickey. If you guys are interested to do any other type of work on your bike, I'll leave his page down in the link below. But yeah, you guys will definitely be seeing more of Mickey on this channel, so stay tuned for that. But as soon as we get this started, you guys will see what I actually have planned for this bike. Stay tuned.
Sounds good.
Yeah, easy. So other than that, guys, I'll see you in the next video. As always, take care.